A miracle or mu'jiza includes the flowing of the water from the fingers of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and as you know, the transformation of Prophet Musa's staff into a giant snake. Also, magic is not a miracle because it can be imitated by opposite magic. One can also counter magic, and one's magic can be stronger than someone else's magic. There are two types of miracles. One type occurs after the suggestion of the people. The people would ask the Prophet, if you are truly a Prophet, then show us proof. Now, an example of this type of miracle is what happened to Prophet Saleh. The people of Prophet Saleh asked him, why don't you bring a camel and its baby out of a solid rock? And Allah created that miracle for him. This is one type of an example. The other type of miracle occurs without the suggestion of the people. An example of the second type is, as you know, the miracle of Isra wal Miraj, which lastly leads me to my talk today. Now the miracle of Isra and Miraj is confirmed in the Quran in Surah Al-Isra, Ayah 1. سبحان الذي أسرى بعبده ليلا من المسجد الحرام إلى المسجد الأقصى الذي باركنا حوله لنريه من آياتنا إنه هو السميع البصير. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said what means, praise be to Allah who enabled his slave Muhammad to make the journey in the night from Masjid al-Haram in Mecca to Masjid al-Aqsa in Jerusalem, which is surrounded by a blessed land. Now this is what this Quran ayah states. The journey is also confirmed in Sahih Hadith. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam traveled both in body and soul, and there is scholarly consensus about this. Moreover, these scholars indicated that the person who denies these facts is a blasphemer. And the reason for this is because he is belying the explicit text of the Quran that I mentioned about. Now during Al-Isra, Angel Jibreel came to the Prophet with a buraq. Now a buraq is an animal of paradise. It is a very fast animal. To give you an example of its speed, the furthest his eye can see is one step or one stride of the buraq. Angel Jibreel and Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam mounted the buraq and set forth. They went to Al-Madinah, then to Tur Sayna, then to Baqlab where Prophet Isa was born, until they entered the city of Jerusalem. There the Prophet entered Masjid al-Aqsa, where Allah assembled all the prophets, starting from Prophet Adam to Prophet Isa, salawatu rabbi wa salamuhu alayhim. Now, a very important lesson here is that the Prophet led forth all the prophets before him into prayer. So what does this show us? It shows us that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam has a high rank among all the other prophets, which is a note that we need to take. During this journey from Masjid al-Haram to Masjid al-Aqsa, Allah enabled the Prophet to see some of his wondrous creations. The Prophet saw people whose lips and tongues were cut with scissors made of fire. And Angel Jibreel told the Prophet, these are the people who speak fitna. These are the people who led others to misguidance. The Prophet saw angels smashing the heads of people, and the heads would come back to shape, and the angel would smash them again, and so on and so forth. Angel Jibreel told the Prophet, these are the people whose heads felt too heavy to pray, meaning they went to sleep without praying, brothers and sisters, which is a note that we need to take here. The Prophet also saw people scratching their face and chests with brass nails. Angel Jibreel told the Prophet, these are the people who committed gossip or ghiba. And this is a very important lesson to take. After the Prophet had taken the night journey from Masjid al-Haram to Masjid al-Aqsa, he ascended to the heavens where he saw Prophet Adam. Then in the second heavens where he saw Prophet Isa and Yahya. Then Prophet Yusuf in the third, Prophet Idris in the fourth, and in the fifth, the Prophet encountered Prophet Harun. In the sixth, he encountered Prophet Musa, and in the seventh, he saw Prophet Ibrahim. Salawatu Rabbi wa salamuhu alayhim. Now the Prophet ascended to a place beyond paradise, where he heard the creakings of the pens used by the angels who are copying from the preserved tablet. And at that location, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam heard the kalam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now please take note here that the kalam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is an attribute of the self of Allah. He heard the kalam of Allah which does not resemble the speech of the creation. It is not occurred bit after bit like I'm talking. It is not a letter nor a sound. It is not stop nor continue. The kalam of Allah neither has a silence nor interruption. It is an attribute of Allah and does not resemble the attributes of the creation. The main message I want to pass across to you today is that there are false claims that we must be aware of. And these false claims are that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam went to where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is. Now this is a false statement. Is it not true that Prophet Musa alayhi salam also heard the kalam of Allah? And where was Prophet Musa at that time? He was in Egypt. So in this same line, does that mean that Allah was also in Egypt? No, it does not. So we must distance ourselves from this false claim. This just reconfirms the rejection of this false claim and reconfirms the true statement that Allah exists without a place. I ask Allah that we all die as Muslims. I ask Allah to bestow upon us the bounty of paradise without torture. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.